On a cold, rainy night in Nashville, a simple man stops his car upon seeing something impossible to ignore. A bride, her white dress soaked, crying alone on the sidewalk. She had just been humiliated at the altar by her wealthy fiancé, who rejected her for not being thin enough. But that encounter in the storm was no accident. It was the beginning of a story of redemption so powerful that it would make this broken woman discover her true worth and transform her pain into a victory no one expected. When her family tries to destroy the love that blossomed that night, when the past comes back to haunt her, you will see how faith can rewrite destinies. Get ready, because this story goes straight to the heart. So subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment on where you're watching from, and let's get to the story. The rain was falling heavily in Nashville that April night. The kind of rain that feels like it carries the weight of the world, you know. Ethan drove slowly down Broad Street, returning home after a double shift at the auto shop where he worked. He was 32 years old, his hands calloused from so much honest work, and he had that quiet demeanor of someone who trusts that God takes care of everything in his own time. He wasn't a man of many words, but when he spoke, people listened. He had that genuine kindness that you see in his eyes, the kind of person you look at and think, this guy is a really good person. That's when he saw it. In the middle of the wet sidewalk, under the dim light of a lamppost, a white figure. He blinked, thinking he was seeing things, but no, it was real. A woman dressed as a bride. The white dress completely soaked, clinging to her body, the hem stained with mud. The veil hung crookedly from her disheveled brown hair, and she was crying. She was crying in a way that broke your heart, the cry of someone who has lost everything, who can't take it anymore. Ethan didn't think twice. He pulled the old red pickup truck over to the curb, turned on the hazard lights, and ran out into the rain. Miss, are you okay?" She lifted her face. Beautiful. Even with her makeup all smudged, her mascara running, you could see she was beautiful. She must have been about 26 or 27. She was a bit fuller, yes, with soft curves under the wet dress. But she had that sparkle in her green eyes, somewhat dimmed by the pain at that moment, but there nonetheless. A sparkle that stubbornly refused to give up. I don't know what to do," she murmured, her voice breaking. "I don't know where to go. You can't stay here in the rain like this. Come on, let me help you." Ethan took off his denim jacket and put it over her shoulders, even though he knew it wouldn't do much good anymore. She was already soaked to the bone. She looked at him with a mixture of fear and hope. You're some kind of lunatic. Because if you are, I swear today is not the day." He gave a small, soothing smile. "No, miss. I'm just someone who can't stand seeing another person suffer and pretending I didn't see it. My name is Ethan Miller. I work at the shop on 12th Avenue. I've lived here in Nashville my whole life. And you need help, so let me help." She took a deep breath. Something about that man, perhaps the sincerity in his brown eyes, perhaps the calmness in his voice, made her trust him. "Lily. My name is Lily Parker." "Nice to meet you, Lily. Come on, let's get out of this rain." 15 minutes later, they were sitting in a 24-hour diner on the outskirts of town. The kind of simple place, red leather stools patched with duct tape, an old jukebox in the corner, the smell of fresh coffee and bacon. The owner, Doris, a black woman in her 60s, brought Lily 2 steaming cups of coffee and an old blanket without asking any questions. She just glanced at the wet wedding dress, shook her head, and said softly, "Men are a problem, honey." Lily held the warm cup between her trembling hands and finally began to speak. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of my life." Her voice came out small, hurt. "I was going to marry Tyler Blackwood. We had planned everything. Beautiful church, perfect decorations, 300 guests. My mother spent months choosing flowers. I thought he truly loved me. Ethan didn't say anything. He just listened. He knew that sometimes the greatest help you can give someone is to let them vent. I arrived at the church. I was nervous, happy, anxious. You know how it is. My father walked me down the aisle, and I looked at Tyler. He looked handsome in his black suit, but his face wasn't right. He had a strange expression, like, disgust. Ethan felt his stomach clench. And when I got close to him, in front of the priest, in front of everyone, he looked me up and down and said, Lily stopped, her voice breaking. Tears returned. He said, I can't do this. Look at you, Lily. Look, you've gained even more weight. I deserve someone my own size, someone who takes care of themselves. I'm not going to marry a fat woman. The silence that fell was as heavy as lead. Jesus Christ, Ethan murmured, incredulous. Anger rose hot in his chest. He said that in front of everyone. Lily nodded, wiping her face with the back of her hand. Everyone heard. 300 people. My mother fainted. My bridesmaids were in shock. And he just left. He turned his back and walked out of the church. I stood there, holding the bouquet, not understanding what had happened. Then I ran. I ran out of the church and kept running. I don't even know how long. I only stopped when I couldn't anymore. And that's when you found me. Ethan ran a hand through his dark brown hair, trying to process the level of cruelty he had just heard. Lily, listen to me carefully. He leaned across the table, his voice firm, but caring. That guy's an idiot, a complete idiot, and I know you're heartbroken right now. But I need you to know something. She looked up at him with her red eyes. You are beautiful, truly beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. That man, he didn't deserve you. He didn't even deserve to get close to you. Because someone who truly loves doesn't do that, doesn't humiliate, doesn't destroy. True love lifts up, protects, cares. Lily looked at him as if no one had ever said that to her before. How can you say that? You don't even know me. I know enough. Ethan took a sip of his coffee. I know enough to know that you didn't deserve to go through this. And I know enough to know that God didn't bring you this far for you to give up now. God. Lily gave a bitter laugh. If God cared, he wouldn't have let this happen. Or maybe, Ethan said slowly, he let it happen because he had a better plan for you. A plan you couldn't see while you were trapped in a life that wasn't meant to be yours. Lily remained silent, processing it all. They talked until the sun began to rise. Ethan spoke about faith, about growing up in a simple family, about losing his father at 15 and almost losing himself, until he found purpose in church, in honest work, in the confidence that there is a greater plan. He spoke about second chances, about new beginnings, and Lily listened to every word as if it were water in the desert. When they finally left the diner, the rain had stopped. The sky was clear, with that orange hue of dawn. Ethan offered her a ride, and she accepted. They went to her best friend's apartment, where Lily could stay for a few days. Before she got out of the car, Ethan hesitated, then said, Look, I know we met under the strangest possible circumstances, but if you want to talk or need anything, give me a call. He scribbled his number on a piece of paper. Lily took the paper and for the first time since that horrible night, smiled. A small but genuine smile. Thank you, Ethan. Really, you saved my life today. God saved me, he gently corrected. I was just driving at the right time. 2 weeks later, Lily called. Hi, Ethan. It's Lily, the rain bride. She laughed nervously. You mentioned the church you go to. I was thinking, maybe I could go, like, with you? Ethan smiled on the other end of the line. Of course, it would be an honor. The following Sunday, Ethan came to pick up Lily. She was nervous, You could tell by the way she fidgeted with her hands, by the way she stared out the car window, unable to stay still. She was wearing a simple light blue dress, her brown hair loose over her shoulders. Without all the heavy makeup she used to wear, she seemed lighter, more herself. "I don't know if I'll know what to do," she confessed as they turned onto the street by the church. "It's been years since I've been to church. My family was never very, religious. We'd go to weddings, baptisms, things like that. But never for a purpose. Relax." Ethan gave that calm smile of his. "No one will judge you. And look, if you feel uncomfortable, we can leave. No pressure." The Community Baptist Church was housed in a simple red brick building, with a white cross out front and well-kept gardens on the sides. It wasn't anything grand, nothing like that absurd cathedral where her wedding was going to take place. But there was something there, a peace you could feel just by getting close. When they entered, people greeted Ethan with genuine smiles and warm hugs. "Hey, brother Ethan. Everything all right? Good to see you, my son." An elderly lady with gray hair pulled Lily into a tight hug without even asking who she was. "Welcome, dear. What a blessing to have you here." Lily felt something break inside her chest, something good. The service began. The band, simple, just guitar, drums, and an old keyboard, played songs Lily didn't know, but which somehow touched her soul deeply. People sang with their eyes closed, their hands raised, not to impress anyone, but because they truly believed. And when the pastor, a black man in his 50s, with a strong but tender voice, began to preach, Lily felt as if he were speaking directly to her. "Sometimes God allows us to go through the storm," the pastor said, walking slowly across the small stage, "not to destroy us, but to prepare us for what He has in store. Because it is in the storm that we discover who we really are. It is in pain that we learn to trust, and it is in the darkest valley that God reveals Himself as our light." Lily began to cry, not from sadness, but from something she couldn't name. Relief, perhaps, or hope. Ethan, sitting beside her, gently handed her a tissue. She took it, wiped her face, and for the first time in weeks, felt that maybe, just maybe, she would survive this. After the service, everyone went outside where they served coffee and homemade cookies. Lily was welcomed as if she were family. They didn't ask intrusive questions. They weren't curious about her past. They just welcomed her. Simple as that. "Are you coming back next week?" Ethan asked as they walked back to the car. Lily looked at him, then at the church, and nodded slowly. "Yes, I'll go." And she returned, week after week. At first, it was only on Sundays. Then she started going to the Wednesday night services as well. She participated in a women's Bible study group, where she heard stories from others who had gone through difficult times and found healing. She began reading the Bible alone at home, something she had never done in her life. And slowly, like a flower blooming, she rediscovered herself. And as for Ethan, well, the friendship turned into something else. Something deeper, more real. They started meeting outside of church. They had coffee together. They went for walks in the park. They talked for hours about everything and nothing. Ethan talked about his work at the garage, about his dream of one day having his own business. Lily talked about the graphic design college she had dropped out of when she started dating Tyler, about how she wanted to go back to it. They laughed together. They cried together. They prayed together. And one late afternoon in July, sitting by the River Cumberland watching the sunset, Ethan held her hand and said, "Lily, I know we met in the most unexpected way possible, and I know you're still healing, but I need you to know that I fell in love with you, with the incredible, strong, beautiful woman you are, and I want to be by your side, if you'll let me." Lily looked at him, her eyes shining. "Ethan, I've fallen in love with you too, and I'm scared, I'm scared of getting hurt again. But with you, I feel it's different, that it's real." They kissed there as the sun set in shades of orange and pink, to the sound of gently flowing water. And Lily knew, deep in her heart, that it was right. But it's not all roses. Real life has layers, it has complications. And Lily's family? Well, they were a huge complication. When Lily finally mustered the courage to tell her parents she was dating again, their reaction was worse than she'd imagined. They went to dinner at a fancy downtown restaurant, the kind of place Ethan would never set foot in if it weren't for her. Her parents, as Richard and Caroline Parker, were the kind of people you look at and immediately know. Old money, important last name, zero humility. Richard was tall, with perfectly combed gray hair, a $3,000 suit, and a gold watch on his wrist. Caroline was too thin, a salon blonde, with that permanent expression of someone who just smelled something bad. They barely glanced at Ethan when they sat down at the table. "So you're Ethan," Richard said, as if the name were a disease. "Yes, sir. Pleased to meet you." Ethan extended his hand. Richard shook it weakly, quickly, as if he wanted to get it over with as soon as possible. "Lily told us you work in a mechanic's shop." Caroline said that as if she were saying he collected trash. "Yes, ma'am. I've been a mechanic for 12 years. I work hard, but it's honest work." "Honest," Richard repeated, giving a smile that didn't reach his eyes. How quaint. The dinner was a disaster. They asked intrusive questions, made veiled comments about the difference in social class, and insinuated that Ethan was taking advantage of Lily's situation. She tried to defend herself, but they were relentless. Late that night, when Ethan went to the bathroom, Richard leaned over to his daughter and said, his voice low but sharp, "Lily, you can't be serious. This man, after everything you went through with Tyler humiliated me, Dad. Tyler made a mistake that can be forgiven. He called us last week. He said he was sorry, that he wants to see you again." Lily felt her blood run cold. No, and no. "Honey, be reasonable." Caroline placed her perfectly manicured hand over Lily's. "You can't throw your life away because of a mechanic. Think about your future. Tyler is a lawyer, comes from a good family, has a future. And let's be honest, darling. Part of the blame for what happened was yours. You really had let yourself go." Lily pulled her hand away as if it had been burned. "Mom, you didn't just say that. I'm telling the truth. If you had taken better care of yourself, stayed in shape, Tyler would never have reacted that way." The tears came, hot and angry. "You're impossible. You don't understand anything." When Ethan returned, he saw Lily standing there, picking up her bag, her eyes red. "We need to go," she said, her voice trembling. They left without saying goodbye. In the car, Lily broke down. She cried like she hadn't cried in months. All that healing, all that peace she had found, seemed threatened. Ethan stopped the car in an empty parking lot and pulled her into a hug. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. They said it's my fault, Ethan. That if I had taken better care of myself, Tyler wouldn't have rejected me. They said you're not good enough for me, that I'm throwing my life away." Ethan took a deep breath, trying to control his own anger. "Lily, look at me." He cupped her face in his hands. "Your parents were so wrong, completely wrong, and you know it. You're not to blame for anything. And I may not have money, I may not have a prestigious last name, but I love you, truly, in the right way." "I know," she whispered. "I know, Ethan." The following Sunday, after the service, Ethan asked to speak with her privately. They went to the church garden, under the shade of an old oak tree. "Lily," Ethan began, his voice firm but full of tenderness. "I know your family doesn't accept me. I know they want you to go back to Tyler. I know that from their point of view, I'm nothing. But I also know one thing. I love you. I love you in a way I've never loved anyone, and I want to build a life with you. A real life, based on faith, respect, and true love." He knelt right there on the grass and took a small box from his pocket. When he opened it, Lily saw a simple ring, silver, with a small blue stone. Nothing extravagant, but it was perfect. I know it's not a huge diamond. I know it's not what your family would expect, but it's all I can offer right now. That and my whole heart. Lily Parker, marry me. Not for others, for us, for what God is building here between us. Lily fell to her knees in front of him, tears streaming freely. Yes, yes, Ethan. 1,000 times yes. They married 2 months later, in a simple ceremony at the same church where she had found peace. There weren't 300 guests. There were 50 people who truly loved them. There were no magazine-worthy decorations. There were flowers from the church garden and simple candles. There was no designer dress. Lily wore a simple white dress that she bought herself at a neighborhood store, and she was radiant. Her parents weren't there. They sent a cold message saying they couldn't support that decision. It hurt. It hurt a lot. But Lily had learned something important. Family isn't just blood. Family is who stays, who supports, who truly loves. And there, in that church full of simple people, but with pure hearts, she had more family than ever before. When the pastor said, "You may kiss the bride," Ethan pulled her close and whispered, "This time it's for real, forever." And they kissed amidst applause and tears of joy. Married life began in a small 2-bedroom apartment. It wasn't luxurious, but it was theirs. Ethan continued working hard at the garage, taking overtime whenever he could. Lily went back to college, determined to finish the graphic design course she had abandoned. They struggled, worked, and prayed together every night before bed. And something began to change in Lily. Not overnight. Real change is never instant. But slowly, over time, she began to take care of herself differently. Not because she wanted to please anyone, not because she was afraid of being rejected again, but because she finally loved herself, because she finally understood that her body was a gift, not a curse. She started walking in the mornings, not to lose weight, but because she liked the feeling of the sun on her skin, the fresh air in her lungs. She started cooking healthy food at home, not crazy diets, but real food, made with love. And her weight began to decrease. Naturally, without pressure, without suffering. Ethan never demanded anything. He never suggested she should lose a few pounds. He loved her just the same, always. But he saw the sparkle in her eyes grow. He saw her confidence return. And that was more beautiful than any physical change. Meanwhile, God was opening doors. Ethan received an unexpected promotion. He became the workshop manager, with a much better salary. Lily started doing freelance design work, creating logos and materials for small businesses. Money was still tight, but they were building something solid. Together, a year and a half after their wedding, Lily discovered she was pregnant. When she told Ethan, he cried. He cried tears of joy, gratitude, and overflowing love. They prayed together right there in the small kitchen, thanking God for the blessing. And it was during this time that something unexpected happened. Lily was in a cafe downtown, working on her laptop, when she heard a familiar voice behind her, a voice that sent shivers down her spine. Lily, Lily Parker. She turned slowly, and there he was, Tyler Blackwood, the man who had destroyed her at that altar. He looked different, thinner, with deep dark circles under his eyes, his expensive suit slightly wrinkled. He seemed lost. Tyler, her voice came out neutral, controlled. Wow, you look different. You've lost weight. Lily felt anger rising, but she took a deep breath. What if I had gained more weight, Tyler? What would your reaction be? He lowered his eyes, embarrassed. Lily, I need to talk to you. Please, just 5 minutes. Against her better judgment, she agreed. They sat at separate tables. She made it clear that this was not a friendly conversation. I messed everything up, Tyler began, his voice breaking. I was an idiot. A monster. And I lost everything, Lily. I lost you. I lost my job. I got fired for misconduct. Can you believe it? My current fiancé broke up with me last week. I'm living at my parents' house. I'm devastated. Lily watched him. Part of her, a small but real part, felt pity. But the larger part, the part that had been healed and strengthened, knew the truth. Tyler, I'm so sorry your life isn't going well. Truly. But you can't expect me to feel sorry for you after what you did. You humiliated me in the worst possible way. In front of everyone. You destroyed my confidence, my self-esteem, my heart. I know, and I'm so sorry. Lily, I was wrong. Completely wrong. You were perfect. You are perfect. And I was an idiot obsessed with superficial things. But I've changed. I swear I've changed. Maybe you've changed, Tyler, I hope you have. But that doesn't change the past. And it doesn't change the fact that my life is different now. She placed her left hand on the table, where her wedding ring shone simply and beautifully. I'm married, happy, fulfilled, and pregnant. Tyler's face fell. You're pregnant? Yes, with a man who truly loves me, who never made me feel small, who never judged me, who always saw me for who I really am. A real man, Tyler, something you never were. Tyler remained silent, processing it all, then he nodded slowly. You deserve this. You always deserved it. And I just wanted to ask for your forgiveness. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm not asking for anything more than that. Just forgiveness. Lily looked at him, at the man who had once almost destroyed her, and she felt something surprising. Peace. Not anger, not resentment, just peace. I forgive you, Tyler. Not for you, but for me. Because I've learned that holding grudges only hurts me. So I forgive you. But that doesn't mean we'll be friends, or that I want you in my life. It means I'm leaving this behind once and for all. She stood up and picked up her laptop. I wish you would find your way, Tyler, truly, but far away from me. And she left, head held high, heart light, soul healed. 6 months later, Lily gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. They named her Grace, because that was exactly what God had poured out on them. Undeserved grace, transformative grace, grace that remakes stories. Lily's parents showed up at the hospital 3 days after the birth. Shy, embarrassed. But there, Caroline cried when she held her granddaughter in her arms. Lily, we made mistakes. We made big mistakes. And we're very sorry. Richard, the proud man who never admitted to being wrong, looked at Ethan and said, You take good care of my daughter, better than I did. And I'm sorry for judging you. It wasn't perfect. Relationships never are. But it was a start. A fresh start. 2 years later, Ethan finally realized his dream. He opened his own auto repair shop. Miller's Auto Repair, the name proudly painted on the facade. Lily had finished college and had a portfolio full of loyal customers. Grace grew up healthy, happy, and loved. They had a small but cozy house. They had challenges, of course, bills to pay, sleepless nights with a crying baby, exhaustion, worries. But they had each other, and they had faith. One April evening, exactly 4 years after that rainy night that changed everything, Lily and Ethan were sitting on their porch, watching Grace play in the garden. The sky was beginning to darken, and a light rain began to fall. Lily smiled, snuggling into Ethan's shoulder. Remember that night? How could I forget? He kissed her forehead. Best night of my life. Mine too, you know. I spent so much time thinking that day at the altar was the end of everything, the end of my story. But actually, it was just the beginning of the real story. My story with you. Ethan pulled her closer. A God writes straight with crooked lines, right? Yes. And sometimes he uses rain to wash away what needs to go and bring what needs to stay. They stood there, listening to the light rain fall, watching their daughter laugh, feeling the love they had built together, brick by brick, prayer by prayer, day by day. Because in the end, Lily learned the most important lesson. When God closes a door, he's not rejecting you. He's redirecting you, and sometimes, the greatest blessing comes disguised as the greatest pain. You just need to have the courage to keep walking, even in the rain. And so ends the story of Lily and Ethan, a story that began on a night of rain and pain and transformed into a lifetime of love and purpose. Lily discovered that true beauty isn't about body size, but about the size of your heart, and that when you truly love yourself, the whole world begins to see you differently. Ethan proved that a real man doesn't measure your worth by what you have, but by who you are. And together, they showed that God can transform the worst night of your life into the beginning of the best story you've ever lived. If this story touched your heart, leave a like, comment below what you thought, and subscribe to the channel to keep hearing stories like this. Stories that remind us that we can always start over, no matter how dark the storm may seem.